Lynn and Harold Lewis, come up here right quick. Stand right here. Now
I don't want to follow that.
here's a testimony of prosperity and blessing. I pastored these guys since 1999. Is it 7? Come on, step in here. Let everybody see you.
Oh, me or him?
No, both of you, right there together. Get together. All right, and in time they got right in the Word. In time he got his back healed, and in time they entered right in to help me with my children's ministry, and the complexion of the whole church changed when she put her hands to it and helped me. And the two of them together, these are the kind of people that if you had 100 couples like them, you could evangelize the nations. But that's the kind of handprint and footprint that's on Church on the Word because of them. Take off and give us a little idea as to where you were financially just a few years ago, what all was going on in your life personally with kids and everything, and then what happened.
Okay. Several years back, we were living paycheck to paycheck. He drove a 1994 F-150 Ford. And it's 94. It's a 94.
How about that?
And that he got for $500 in an auction. But there you go. And I was driving whatever he could put together for me to drive from. Pat, did that car come from you that Bert painted with a paintbrush? Or was that Butch's? That was Butch's, okay. Had that red interior. He'd been painted with a white paintbrush. Got out of it one day and bless Nelson's heart. He said, Lynn, you shouldn't be driving anything like that. But that had come from not even having a car. I had a car to get down the road. So about that same time period, both kids were where they shouldn't be. I'll just leave it at that. They were going through their own trials and tribulations and all that. And heard you, can I move into the confession now?
Sure.
Okay. Heard Pastor John teach a sermon on favor. Was it on favor? Mm-hmm. And he said, I want all of you to go home and make this confession that I've added to it. So let me think what you said that time. Money comes to you frequently, easily, and abundantly in Jesus' name. So since then, JP gave a testimony, and Pastor said, start telling everybody that you're over-generously, preferentially treated. And I added, and you hadn't seen anything yet. So my confession now is that the Lewis family is over-generously, preferentially treated, and money comes to the Lewises frequently, easily, and abundantly in Jesus' name. And you haven't seen anything yet. And I used to say it all the time, and we'd confess it back and forth. And Levi was probably 4 years old when we first started doing it, and he would be, that's my grandson, he'd be in the back seat, and he'd say, and the Levi's. So that's now, we got to, and the Levi's. So, but since then, we have been so blessed. And I want everybody to realize, don't make a work out of that. You don't have to make that confession. It keeps you from saying a negative confession. But if you don't say it, you can still get blessed. It's like I'll go sometimes 2 or 3 weeks, a month, and not say it. And then I'll text Joni, and I'll say, okay, the Lewises and the Gilstraps are over-generously, preferentially treated, and money comes to them frequently, easily, and abundantly in Jesus' name. And you haven't seen anything yet. And then I do that to my sister in Alabama, and we'll just play it back and forth. But since then, this man right here is such a hard worker. And all those years, he put everybody first, did what he could, worked hard, and he always loved his toys. But, when you're getting by from paycheck to paycheck, you might can take a vacation that year. But I was thinking today, even things as little as I've got 2 or 3 Gain laundry detergent sitting in my laundry room instead of that one, and I'm dreading that it's going to run out and I'm not going to have the money to go get it. I've got overabundantly. It's there. Yeah. When I go to
it's the little things.
Yes, I go to the meat department. I buy the meat and load up the freezer. It's a blessing. But back to him. He has a 1957 Chevy paid for now. He has a 40 Dodge paid for. Looks like a Bonnie and Clyde car. Mm-hmm. He has talked for years and years. He does a side business. He has talked for years and years about he would love a black trailer to put all his tools in, have a big toolbox. There ain't no way we could buy that. This year, at the beginning of the year, New Year's Day, right? We drove to South Georgia, picked him up a paid for cash, black trailer, didn't have chrome on it. It's got blackened. I mean, it's totally black, and it's got awesome wheels.
Covered trailer.
Covered. I'm sorry. It's
Tell him what he's pulling it with now. It's not that 94 Ford
Oh, wow, yeah,
F-150.
yes.
Wait till
He
you
is.
see-
I'm sorry. Yeah, the trailer, brand new. Right. A few years back, we were driving back from Cave Spring, Georgia, and we went past it was a Ford dealership, and had this beautiful Silverado truck sitting out front. He didn't want 4-door. He just wanted the suicide doors in the back and the back seat and the other door. We were able to purchase that. He kept, no, we're not. And I was like, no, this is a God thing. We're getting this. We're not going home today. You're taking this truck. Got the truck. It's paid for now.
Paid for.
Paid for. Our name is paid for. Everything's paid for. So
It's a low mileage 4-wheel drive, super
one
black.
owner.
Nice interior. I mean, smelled brand new, even though it wasn't new.
Yes.
It had so
He
low
didn't even,
miles.
Yeah, he didn't even drive it. He left it parked in the garage. I couldn't get him to drive it. He drove that Ford F-150 forever because he didn't want to put mileage on the black one. So, me talking about the cars, I figured if he got a Ford F-150 that, hey, I could go get me a brand new car. So since then, I've had a total of 3 brand new cars. I got one in 10, but it was in 11. And then I decided in 13 I'd go get another one. And then in 15 I went and got another one. It's paid for now.
Paid for.
All this, just confession. What else is going on? As of right now, this is a positive confession, but there is 9 vehicles in my driveway. They're all paid for. Well, they're in the driveway in the backyard, and I think one's parked across the road at the neighbor's house, but there. So I'm not there yet. So, okay, that's just our vehicles. So it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I'd have to look at the dates. We've been looking for waterfront property in Cave Spring because my family's from up in that area. And it don't hurt that the pastor and his wife's got a cabin up there too. But we were up in that area, and we were just driving around and looking, and happened to be my birthday, and we found perfect property that we wanted. And I was like, yeah, right. So we called, asked how much, and then we went out to lunch with my sisters because it was my birthday. And I told my sister Gail how much we needed, and I said, you got that money? And she said, I ain't got it, but I know who does. And I was like, okay. So then we started talking to Pastor John about it, how we'd like this. And I mean, it was so far out there. There is no way we'd ever get that property. But I wasn't going to confess that, but that's in my mind. And finally, one night, he said, were you going to do something about it or not? Or are you just going to keep talking about it? And I'm like, so
Our conversation was basically, you can talk about it, but inquire. Go to the property, go to the man that owns it, ask him, inquire of it. Start talking like you're a serious buyer if you seriously want it.
I don't
And
think you said it that
take
nicely.
a step. No, I didn't. I said, go take a step if it's what you want. I mean, you only have now. Go ahead and go. Look at the what is it? The Proverbs 31 says a virtuous woman considers a field and buys it. Go ahead.
So next morning I got up and I said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to pursue it, you know. So I talked myself into keeping my mouth shut till 4 o'clock that afternoon, and I called Jay. So called Jay and I said, okay, we really, really want this property, but we've talked to him enough over the years to know that a lot of people won't loan money on property. I mean, it has no electric, it has no water, no anything up there. And Jay said, well, what do you got? So he said, worst case scenario, you could refinance your house and take the equity out and go buy it. A couple of, we had a rental house that we had bought for my daughter in her first marriage that we were renting now. But, so he just named several. He said you could go over to the rental house and refinance it and use the equity in it. Or he said, didn't you say something about y'all had a 401k? And I was like, well, yeah. And he said, you know you can borrow against that, right? And you just pay yourself back. And I was like, no, really? You can do that? Probably a good thing I didn't know sooner, but but so.
Because you didn't know.
So when I had Levite art lessons that afternoon, so I was sitting in the car talking to Jay on the phone. So I went home, pulled up Fidelity, did the 401k and all that. And I asked Harold, I said, dang, we really can do this. I said, are you sure you want to do this? And he's like, yeah. And I said, okay. Clicked the button, and in 2 or 3 days, the check was in the mailbox. So we went out and purchased and got to pay cash for it. And what's so cool is it comes out of his paycheck every week, and we don't even miss it. It just goes straight that, and we're having to pay ourselves interest on it. So, I'm making money back from borrowing my money.
And you found out that 2 hours of overtime a week took care of that extra added expense.
Oh, yeah. He can work 2 hours. He can work all the overtime he wants to. So, okay. So here we are in Cave Spring. Janie thinks we've lost our mind because last summer we were up there camping. It was so hot. We were in a tent, no running water.
They were stuck in
No, yeah. And they happened to be not too far down the road. And Pastor's like, y'all can get up and come take a shower at the cabin tomorrow if you want to. And I said, can I come now? So we're blessed. We got waterfront property, but no utilities. So move on forward down the road. When we first bought the property, we thought maybe we'd put a camper on it till we could build something on it. And we went looking at campers and all that. And we were like this close to signing for a used one for $13,000. But we were going to have to make monthly payments on it. It wasn't going to be, easy. So it'd be something we'd have to make a monthly payment on it and pay a lot of interest. So this past February, I kept getting a nudge on Facebook when I'd look through it. There was a camper on there for sale, and I'm like, we don't want a camper. We'd already talked about building maybe a tiny house on wheels or something. And something in me said, go back and look at it again. And I was like, okay. So I went back, and that was like Wednesday. And I finally said something to him about it on Saturday. He said, well, call them. And I said, okay. So I called them, and they said, yeah, come after church tomorrow. Just less than a mile right here. Come after church tomorrow and look at it. And I'm like, okay. So me and him got home, and I said, we've learned over the years, if you show up ready for action, you get better results. So he put the cash in his back pocket. He had the hitch already on his truck. We went over there, and he said, look. He said, I've got this much money, and I can hitch it up now and get it out of your dad's driveway. And the guy's like, well, I really wanted more than that. Harold said, got 11, listen to this, 11 $100 bills. $1,100, and we got a camper.
It is a nice camper. It's a nice
Not $13,000, $1,100, and he hooked it up and took it home that day.
Sleep 6, nice interior.
Okay, move forward.
Kitchen, bathroom.
Has electricity. Don't have an electric pole, but it's got the battery and stuff, so you can, I can make coffee and, just the lights come on and all that stuff. So we're up there now. We've got electricity, but we don't have any water. Well, we got plenty of water, but you don't want to drink it. But we don't have running water. So the guy that has the property next door has 2 meters. And we're like, Hey, Rook, we got his number. Hey, Rook, you got that meter out there and it's not being used. Would you mind if we use it? He's like, no. He said, that's okay. Y'all can have it. Take it. It's okay. So $1,500 is what the meter would have cost. We got it for free. $80 to get the water turned on. Now we have running water, which means we have a bathroom. So all we need now is, what do we need? Well, we need an electric pole and all that. But yes, we're taking one step at a time. But it's up on a hill. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Debt-free. Yes.
I've often said, as it goes with the pastor, so it goes with the congregation. Since 2006, we've had that beautiful property that looks off down a bluff onto the water below, with like a mountain range look in the back, with a fireplace and an outdoor fire pit and a pond and river. And now they have this property with a bluff that looks down onto the water below, with a mountain range at the back.
We're going to have a log cabin, too.
You're going to have a cabin. As it goes with the shepherd, so
Yes.
it goes with the sheep. But you follow somebody that's got some kind of blessing on their life and watch it. You'll get a stamp. It'll be like a copied stamp. Go ahead, keep talking.
But that's not it. That's not everything.
Okay.
So like I was saying, back in
That's not everything.
Levi was 1. So back in 2009, we bought a house for our then son-in-law and daughter that it didn't work out. So we ended up renting the house out, and we rented it for several years. We had wonderful renters. They paid on time, never gave us any problems, took care of stuff and all that. But everybody kept encouraging us last year to put it on the market because the market's so good right now. So we got them to move out, and Harold spent several months over there painting and renovating and all that. And we put it on the market on a Friday night. And Saturday morning, the first person that looked at it is the one that bought it. We had 5 offers, and they were battling with each other. And we ended up, guys, we sold that house for double what we paid for it. So, double what we paid for it. Thanks to Andrea. Harold loves Andrea. But, I want to say all that, like I said, about the money comes to the Lewises frequently, easily, and abundantly. But when you're talking about prosperity, you're talking about above, across the board, everything. And probably the biggest prosperity has been the restoration to our family and where my kids are now. My son is better than
he's ever been in his life.
He is. He is better. He's back to the Daniel I used to have, and like I said, I think he's better than he was. Funny. Oh, he cracks me up. He keeps me laughing. And Destiny, she's remarried now. She's doing wonderful. Levi's good. Josh is good. So, to me, that's the biggest blessing. So
yes, ma'am.
And like you said, all my children are taught of the Lord, and great is their peace and undisturbed composure.
Girl, talk to me. Let me hear it come out your mouth.
Mm-hmm. I quoted it today, and you're going to laugh because I tried to find it, and I can't find it in the Bible.
Isaiah 54:17.
Okay. Because I found 2 different scriptures, and I said, well, maybe I've heard it so much that maybe he connected 2 scriptures together, because one in John kept coming up, too, when I was looking for it. So, but I know it. I just didn't know where to find it. So, Harold, what you want to add?
I'm good. Whatever she says, I agree.
He's a smart man.
I sent them a text one day. I sent her an email one day that said how to determine the sex of a bird. There were 2 birds that came up like that, and one was going. The other one was saying nothing. So I sent it to Lynn and Harold.
He listens well. Yes, dear. Yes, dear.
That's it?
I don't know. Is there anything else?
I can't think of anything right now other than all the vehicles are paid for. The house is on its way to being paid for.
I agree.
The property's easy to have. It's a retirement home, a retirement spot one day. The kids have come back to the Lord fully. Both of them are prospering. Both of them are blessed. Both of them are substance free. Both of them are absolutely in love with their mom and their dad. And she's in love with her husband. He loves her. Daniel loves Pastor John and loves Church on the Word. You just can't. It's a love story that just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's not what you go through. It's how you end up that's important.
Amen.
If you finish good.
We are so blessed.
You're over generously,
preferentially treated. And money comes to the Lewises frequently, easily, and abundantly. In Jesus' name.
Amen. And you haven't
seen anything yet. I agree. Electricity is good.
Well, you went exactly 15 minutes.
Oops, I went over.
Exactly 15.